By 1992, Ivankov was under constant surveillance. The FBI tracked his movements to the major cities of the world. It was no surprise when agents traced Ivankov to Miami. It was around this time that a new name began to pop up with increasing frequency. Tarzan. This was a nickname for a Russian immigrant who settled in Brighton Beach in the late 80s. In the Ukraine, Leonard Feinberg was trained as a dentist. In Brighton, he was known as a friendly, fun-loving guy. But as Feinberg neared 30, he began to change. He started dressing like a gangster, talked tough, and reportedly dreamed of becoming a thief-in-law like his idol Ivankov. In 1990, Tarzan left Brighton, telling friends he was going to make his mark in Miami. To the feds in Miami, Tarzan sounded like just another loser dreaming of the big time. Then they heard that Tarzan was somehow involved in the sale of Soviet helicopters. To determine the truth of the rumors about the wannabe Russian wise guy, they decided to test the feasibility of an undercover operation. A DEA agent who was fluent in Russian was assigned as the undercover operator.
Tarzan ran a strip club called Porky's, and he was basically someone the Russians would go to get girls or drugs. Strictly small-time stuff. But then we started to hear about him and Soviet military equipment, and that's basically when I was brought in. Like Tarzan, I was from the Ukraine and had lived in Brighton Beach.
Tarzan's club was in a red light district near the airport. The initial strategy was to attempt contact and determine if it was possible to get the suspect talking. Sasha's cover was that he was just another Russian immigrant looking to score.
Porky's was a real scumbucket. We couldn't believe that the owner of this joint could be putting together the deals we were hearing about.
A police informer who Tarzan trusted was in place. At first, Tarzan was suspicious, until he learned that Sasha was also born in the Ukraine and had lived in the old neighborhood. Tarzan had taken the bait. The operation was on.
Tarzan had no major hits on his sheet. Only I think a lewd behavior in public charge and some strong-arm jobs. Nothing major at all. So it really seemed odd that we had this whole undercover operation going for this little sleazebag. But of course, it turned out to be much bigger than we initially thought.
Sasha's job was to become Tarzan's best friend, to get Tarzan talking. To learn what he knows requires Sasha to dress like Tarzan, talk like him, act like him.
Sasha, we should do business together. Two guys from the old neighborhood.
Sure. But what are we talking about?
I want to open up another nightclub like this.
What, Porky's too?
Maybe. Hey, it don't look like much. It makes a bundle. No business. No business is better than money in a club.
Money laundering was not what Sasha wanted to
What
hear.
else you got going on?
But sooner or later, he knew a guy like Tarzan couldn't resist talking about his big deal.
Looks like nightclubs don't interest you. Well, I got something big. Huge. There are these guys I worked with. I supplied them with bulletproof limos, choppers, that kind of thing. Well, they got in touch with me. And get this. They want a submarine.
A submarine?
Yeah, a sub. A Soviet military submarine with a crew of 25. They want to run drugs up and down the West Coast.
Do these guys have the money?
Do they have the money? These guys have enough money to buy a whole armada. They're the Colombians.
Street surveillance was ordered. A drug smuggling submarine sold by a two-bit punk like Tarzan seemed too fantastic to believe. But the feds were taking no chances. Tarzan's contact with the Colombians was Juan Almedia. The Colombians paid for Tarzan's trips to Russia with sacks of money dropped off by Almedia. Much of the cash Tarzan either banked or spent. Tarzan was on a roll, partying at Porky's, then jetting off, returning with snapshots of subs for sale and boasting about his contacts with the Russian Mafia. But after months, Tarzan seemed no closer to finding a sub. Investigators began wondering if the whole deal was a scam, but the investigation continued.
I told Tarzan that we were going to have to look like experts if we were going to fool the Colombians. I told him, since I had experience in the Marines, I had the contacts we needed to get all the technical advice. I became Tarzan's sub-advisor. He'd come back from Russia with pictures and questions and all, and basically I'd have to fake my way through it. That was pretty easy to do since he didn't know squat about military technology. I never thought the deal would actually happen, but somehow Tarzan came through. He got his hands on a Tango-class diesel submarine. Tarzan told me that the Russians were practically giving away mothballed Soviet subs because the military's broke. So basically that's what happened. He got a civilian agency to approve it as surplus, and they approved the sale for oceanographic research. He even found 25 out-of-work sailors for a crew, and an admiral who figured that skippering a drug sub would be better than, standing in bread lines.
In Russia, a final meeting was held. The sub was waiting at the dock. With the admiral by his side, Tarzan made his closing pitch.
This is #1 machine in Russia.
But the admiral's English was limited, and the Colombian admitted to only speaking Spanish. So Tarzan translated to Almedia, who translated for the Colombian. Since neither knew a periscope from a torpedo tube, communication was difficult.
Как сказать, it has very, very good displacement, very good for storage, good for cocaine, very good.
Then a problem came up the Colombian heard loud and clear.
There is a little problem, because machine was in storage, it cannot go under. It doesn't submerge right now. No, it cannot. You have to tow it. But it's okay. It's okay because we tow it. We can tow it. Oceanography it's very good. It's very good machine. We can tow it. I got good cover.
Cover or no cover, the Colombian wasn't buying that a Soviet submarine in tow to Colombia would not attract attention.
Very good cover.
From evidence obtained by the undercover operation, Tarzan was convicted of racketeering.
Tarzan basically turned state's evidence, and he's now in the witness protection program.
You ever have contact with him again?
No, not at all.
The Colombians may have backed out, but the scheme to use a submarine for drug smuggling was a warning shot across the bow of law enforcement everywhere of what can happen when gangs unite.